tank quest. Now the question is, where is it? Hey! This one hasn't actually moved at all. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Apparently, Alexander needs Behemoth to spawn. Don't know where, but they want Behemoth to spawn. Between sleep and death, Tantawa has a worried expression on his face. Ha! Just a person I wanted to see. I'd like to ask your advice on a certain matter, if you don't mind. It's been a while since my last letter to Lozaniqui. I wanted to wait until I discovered something worth sharing to write her, but we're still completely in the dark. I don't want her to worry, but I don't know what to tell her. Tell her you're in good spirits. That will suffice. Whatever you write, don't make her wait too long. Good advice, as usual. I wish we had even a single thread to grasp. But an unexciting letter is better than none at all. Alright, I'll start right away. May not have much time left. Oh, don't misunderstand. It's nothing so grave as that. It's just, the last time I used the cradle was just before it was stolen. Luckily, I'm still as alert as I've ever been, but won't be long until I must dream like any other. That will give Leophyne free rein when I'm helpless in bed. There is no quarry more dangerous than one who doesn't sleep. We have to see this through before that happens. I totally forgot about that, by the way. That the whole thing here was that freaking Tantawa has just been awake for like years. Because the artifact allows you to just like give any sleep that you need to other people. So, Mistress Sevilla, Master Tantawa, have received reports that several groups of temple knights have fallen afoul of what can only be your stolen artifact. Several? Let me guess that they were all guarding someone else. You would be correct. It's the duty of a knight to protect those who cannot protect themselves. If we fail at even that most basic function, then our honor means nothing. As if the incident near Camp Dragonhead was not shameful enough, knights in these most recent attacks were left in quite compromising positions. Oops. Oh dear. Yet the weight of embarrassment is a trifle compared to the guilt we would bear if any innocent came to harm. The Fury was merciful in that respect, but we would rather not see these incidents repeat. Still, while the Temple Knights must work to repair their reputation in the days ahead, it is a far cry from Ringishgard crumbling to its knees. Truth be told, the methods of this passage of the Unbound leave me mystified. But Leophyne is cunning, if nothing else. Till we can discern her true motivations, we have little recourse but to wait until she makes a mistake. Perhaps she gets her jolly seeing people humiliated. She may be testing the limits of the artifact's powers. I mean, I would think that the limits would be just how much sleep you can, go without. Then, you suggest she has a greater purpose in mind for it. These incidents are simply a prelude. We cannot discount that theory, I admit. We shall remain vigilant. There's no telling how much chaos she can sow if left unchecked. We have to do everything we can to get the cradle out of her clutches. And to do that, we have to start asking the right questions. This new information makes me wonder, why has she focused her attention on the Temple Knights? I have pondered the same. Posted at Camp Dragonhead are knights from many houses of repute, including House Forsom. But a former Temple Knight herself, Leophyne doubtless knows their habits and training. Perhaps that makes it easier for her to exploit their weaknesses. And if we follow the knights, we may pick up her trail. It's not ideal, but it's the best we have to go on. While a large contingent of knights has but recently been dispatched to Kurthus. Remember Gorgon Mills, yes? It has lain abandoned ever since the heretics were driven from it. Yet there is ever the risk that unsavory elements might infest it once again. Thus have the Temple Knights planned joint patrols of its premises with other contingents. If you speak with Sir Redwald at Falcon's Nest, I'm certain he would be glad to have you along. What's interesting is he appears to be gladiator / paladin. So I wonder how that's going to end up playing into the fact that this is the tank quests. You know, usually the idea would be that I am protecting somebody by the final, mission. But, he's basically a tank, too. So you just wouldn't really need, protection. So, Mistress Sevilla, I see. Of course, you're ever welcome to Falcon's Nest. Yet I do not know your companion here. Indeed, whispers of the Temple Knight's humiliation have reached us even here, falling asleep while on duty. I dare not believe the stories, but seems there was truth in them after all. They fell asleep, true, but it wasn't their fault. We suspect they fell victim to an enemy wielding a powerful artifact. Now, the rumors failed to mention anything like that. If it can lull even trained warriors to sleep, then we must treat it as a serious threat. Nevertheless, if one knight falls, another is always at the ready to take their place. So long as this artifact cannot put an entire regiment under its spell, I believe we are well positioned to combat it. Interesting. The idea of your allies falling in battle doesn't seem to disturb you at all. Why hail from a single warrior is responsible for the safety of his entire village? I mean, here, they expect people to work together to, keep things safe. So, I don't know if it'll help, but I just realized earlier that I didn't take the Mucinex in the morning, with all my other meds. So I wanted to take that, and hopefully, My sinuses will calm down enough that we can get through these quests at least. Make no mistake, we do not doubt our allies' mettle, and we mourn every loss. Yet each man and woman here knows that if they must quit the battle, another sword just as fierce will take their place. To know that an ally is at your back would allow you to fight with abandon. Now, you believe this Leophyne might take interest in our activities at Gorgog and Mills, yes? The party has already left, accompanied by a ground of Temple Knights. If your suspicions are correct, then they are at risk. I would ask that you follow in their tracks and ensure that you have not fallen victim to foul play. That they have not fallen victim. The mills can be found to the north, just across the Black Iron Bridge. The party should be arriving there soon, conditions permitting. We have to reach them before Leophyne does. Oh, they're gonna be fast asleep by the time we get there. And that said, like, she seems to leave them in precarious situations, but not ones that would inevitably leave them to their doom. It may even very well be that part of her goal is similar to, like, the Justiciar was, where, like, the goal being to humiliate before going in for, like, the big finale. Look, I am now the hero. Humiliate and make people lose trust in before, stepping in and being like, look, I am the one that can, like, deal with the things. We're too late. They're fast asleep. But Redwald gave the impression that there were more. These knights must have been the lookouts. We should awaken them, but keep your eyes peeled for Leophyne. I'll rouse these ones. Cassandra, you search that building yonder. Oh, here's somebody doing Heaven's Word. Who the hells are you? How'd you get past the guards? How do I know they're doing Heaven's Word? Because that's the exact spot where there's a quest. Also, watch these abilities. Oh wow, what a waste. I figured I'd get to at least use the full combo on him. Again, I missed my chance to do the last two moves. It's you! Thank the Fury you arrived when you did. Those thugs struck when our backs were turned. I assumed the Temple Knights were protecting the entrance, so I wasn't as cautious as I should have been. Were they killed? Sleeping? I've heard the stories, of course, but I didn't think they were true. Whomever's behind this, I'm sure they didn't count on you showing up. For now, we shall tend to our wounds, and then finish our inspection here. Mistress Sevilla, I ask that you join the knights outside and wait until we're finished. Of course my nose is freaking acting up immediately. Give me 1 second. Ah, there she is. Ah, as I thought. Just when I was becoming bored, I sighted a familiar face among these slumbering knights. I simply had to come and make sure it was you. You finally found the courage to show yourself. Hand over the cradle now and I won't kill you. What did they call you again? The Wide Eye. You must have had quite the journey to come this far. Be careful, Cassandra. This is our quarry. The thief who stole the cradle of the sleepless. This is Leophyne. Leophyne. Fine. That is your ally. You had to ask a child for help. Perhaps they seek to play with this toy of yours. Now see, here's something I didn't think about. If you can take your sleep and give it to others, can you drain other people's need to sleep? As in, could she build an army of like 100 people? Get them all like super tired. And then just drain that. And then just be like, blow. And just chuck it at freaking like thousands of people. Because really, if you're putting people to sleep, you don't need, you don't need 8 hours of sleep to put somebody to sleep. You only need enough amount of sleep, quote unquote, that the person falls asleep. For one person, it might be that they're like an hour away from falling asleep, and so you just be like, blow, an hour of sleep. And boom, now they're asleep. So like, could you just take like a bunch of people, have them just be awake for like 24 hours, and then just suck all of that up into the artifact, and then just be like, blow, everybody gets like 2 hours of sleep. You just distribute that amongst like thousands of people. Actually, yeah. It would be if you gave everybody 2 hours of sleep, it would be about 1,000 people. If you take 24 hours and then times that by 100 people, that's 2,400. And then if you divide that by 1,000, that's 2.4. I mean, in the end, you're basically just dividing by 10, but, you have to, like, go through that process. I'm sure that you could, like, figure out, just simplify it down due to the way that, like, the, 10, 100, 1,000, etc., the zero numbers work. Before you do the math, but I did the math and then realized, so, but in either case, like, you could literally just, like, everybody's been awake 24 hours, you just suck it up, and it's like, blam, 2.4 hours of sleep for 1,000 people, just knock them all out, But then, I guess it also depends, too, and this is getting into semantics, but, like, is it similar to D&D with how sleep works? Where, when you cast the sleep spell, it's what, 5d8? And then you count, like, hit points? So, like, if you just, like, sucked up 24 hours of sleep from, like, 1,000 people, and then you like distributed that among, amongst more people, like, would people that are weak just like immediately collapse first as it like spreads? And then it's like, well, these people are really hardy, so they need more, and And what would be the actual determining like factor of that? Because hit points obviously don't exist in real life. So would it be like, as you level up in D&D or Final Fantasy 14 and things like that, like, you get more, you get stronger, and therefore it's like a constitution thing. Like, I've been awake, I have trained for 5 years of my life for this thing. And so therefore I have enough constitution to, handle 100 points of sleep, I'm getting into semantics here, but still, it's a fun, little, thing to think about. Like, what would be the physics, if you could just suck up sleep from people and then distribute it to other people? Like, what would be, like, the physics behind it, Obviously, our tiredness level and our need to sleep are determined by chemicals in the brain. So the idea would be that you're, like, taking those chemicals from, like, one person and, like, putting them into somebody else's brain, and then boom, now they're awake. But I guess also, I mean, sleep does certain things to your body. So you would have to, like, figure out how, like, okay, you just, what happens when you suddenly gain 8 hours of sleep, Like, how does your body, like, stitch itself together and such? I realize this is extra and, like, whatever, but I don't know. I just like to think about, like, that's the fun part about myself, if you will, is I love fantasy, but also, like, I kind of want to try to make as much of the fantasy fit in with science as possible, Like, my magic system that I use isn't just, poof, magic. My magic system that I use is, like, you like, use energy, you use ether, if you will. You use ether to, like, mix the chemicals together. It's like, it's very scientific, It's like, yes, I mix oxygen with, a couple of other chemicals here and there that one combined together, poof, you've got a fireball, So, like, you're manipulating you're not, ooh, here, I'm just creating a fireball. You're, like, taking the world and you're, like, bending reality to turn one thing into another. Which also gets real interesting because, like, you can create a fireball, like, in a desert and it'll just straight up be stronger than it would be in, like, a frozen tundra, Because you're able to just take that heat, take that excess heat and use it to ignite your ball of flame. And so if you, like, take what you normally would, the extra heat just ignites it into a much, like, larger ball of flame. On the other hand, if you're, let's say underwater, where fire would, instantly fizzle out, you don't exactly have the ability to merge the chemicals into a fireball because you're underwater, It's a little like science fantasy. So, it matters not, I suppose, before you both throw your lives away, I suggest you think for a moment. Is the cause you fight for worth the sacrifice? So few of us know true freedom. If there's aught you would grasp with your own hands, do so before they wither and your eyes shut for the last time. The codes and rules that would bind men are mere illusions. Open your eyes, truly open them, and you shall see a path all your own. Only a fool would waste their life in the struggle of another. Quit spouting nonsense. Nonsense? Perhaps I am here because of another, after all. Epiahi, who came to me at the height of my debauchery and welcomed me into her devious brotherhood. She guided me to great power, yes, and now I lead others upon the unbound path. Yet, truth be told, I have little interest in seeing where it ends. To tear down the world's nations, Isgard among them, and usher the world into, well, what does it matter? Yet I do derive great pleasure in shaming the temple knights, and seeing the snickers and jeers deflate their pompous stride as they walk down the streets. If this artifact can hasten their fall from grace, I believe I shall keep it. I know the path I walk, the one that leads to your downfall. But I won't abandon it. I'll take the cradle back. And then I'll saw that coming. Oh dear, seem to have lost your train of thought. I know you cannot hear me, but if you want your artifact back, I might suggest stealing it from me while I'm asleep. But considering the burden I have just passed to you, that opportunity may not come for some time yet. Why, I feel absolutely transcendent. To think the shackles of fatigue weighed so heavily. God, yeah, imagine what it would feel like to never need sleep, you know? Because not only would it mean that you never need to sleep, you would never grow tired. Alas, it appears the artifact needs its own repose of sorts. No matter, I've learned more than enough to take my next step. See to it that this lot is disposed of. 'Tis the least you can do for the freedom I have given you. Never leave your minions to deal with the freaking hero. Never just leave your minions to deal with the hero. It never works. Bang! Bang! Also, a little bit of latency here. And boom! I love that skill, dude. It's so good. Like, not only does it do absolute frick tons of damage, but I just love the animation. It's just like, boom, you know? Try as you might to rouse Tentawa, he seems completely detached from the waking world. Well, at least he'll get some sleep, and won't have to worry about him falling asleep before, you know, encountering her again. It looks like you've saved us twice today. Thank you. But what of him? Fast asleep, just as we were. This be what Sir Firmalbert warned us of in his report. Yeah. That's a hard name to say. I see. And the stories are more than just wicked rumors. Suppose there is some small comfort in the fact that an enemy tipped their hand without causing loss of life. While the drowsiness made my eyes heavy, my ears could not mistake Leophyne's arrogant voice. She would not scruple to attack former comrades in arms, and she has fallen farther than I had dared imagine. Yet we bear the blame for allowing her to get the upper hand, and in so doing put innocent lives in danger. Another black mark on our order. It was only thanks to you and your companions' efforts that the snow was not stained with red this day. At the very least, allow us to carry him to the congregation. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, I just killed those 3 guys. So, there was some snow that was red. Our work here is done, so we shall accompany them as far as Falcon's Nest. Cassandra, pray return to Ishgard and look after your friend. I feel like, the ground was stained a little bit with red today. I get the adage, but, I feel like it was a little bit stained with red today. I mean, freaking, I slaughtered the crap out of 3 people. Meow. Meow. You've gotten mouthy lately. Yeah. You've gotten all mouthy lately. Meow, meow. So much meow, meow lately. Hi, my mouthy kitty cat. Firmalbert. I have the feeling I'll be picking up the quest from him as well. Full glad I am to see you well, Mistress Sevilla. I understand you come fresh from an encounter with none other than Leophyne. Master Tentawa now rests on the 2nd floor. We shall stand vigil by his side every moment till he opens his eyes again. We should not have long to wait, but if you wish to check on him, please do so at your leisure. There is another matter to discuss. Just before your departure to Gorgogan Mills, it seems there was another incident. A group of criminals were released from their cells. The guards found in a deep sleep. Doubtless Leophyne was behind this. And doubtless the ruffians you clashed with were these self-same criminals. And Leophyne is gathering those who bear a grudge against the Temple Knights to her side, and using this animosity to her advantage. Now know for certain that Leophyne is the mastermind of these attacks, and that her aim is to chip away at the very foundation of the Temple Knights, our honor. When I shared these revelations with my superior, it was decided that none would speak publicly of the artifact and its powers. Passage of the Unbound seeks to overthrow the nations of the world. One obvious method to achieve this goal would be to stoke the flames of unrest among the common folk, thus sinking Ishgard into a mire of chaos and distrust, not unlike the blasphemies of the final days. So long as these failures are placed squarely on the shoulders of the Temple Knights, we can avoid fomenting the more abiding mistrust in the nation's very core. For Ishgard's peace, I would gladly suffer any disgrace. The question remains as to whether we can apprehend Leophyne before before she tears our reputation to tatters. While Master Tentawa slumbers, it falls to us to search for clues that might point towards her whereabouts. I can read, really. Beacon in the darkness. Firmalbert's eyes light up when he sees you. Leophyne remains as elusive as ever. She's in league with Ishgard's more unsavory elements. She could be hidden anywhere. We have only her cryptic statements to guide us. Seems that whatever her plan is, her actions thus far have been but a prelude to its climax. We can but hope that Tentawa awakens before she emerges again. Don't worry, this is the start of the quest. He'll definitely awaken. Cassandra, there you are. Unless, of course, we're getting a different NPC. We are! Stop eating the headphones, cat. I'm so glad I found you. I was trying to think I was in the wrong city, but the narwhal guided me true. Oh, you must be the maiden Tentawa mentioned. You hail from the same village, yes? I am Firmobert of the Temple Knights. It is an honor to meet you. Tentawa wrote about you in his letters. I'm Loziniqui, and the honor is all mine. Is Tentawa with you? I haven't received a letter from him for some time, so I came here to check on him myself. Yeah, he's fast asleep. There's a dragon killer just right there, and I've never noticed that. Like, it's just sitting there, waiting for any dragons to come. I've never noticed. You insufferable fool! I always told you about rushing ahead without thinking. Now you even have the gall to be sleeping when I arrive. You promised you'd write to me. What was I supposed to do when the letters stopped coming? I was so worried. At least I can take some small comfort that he appears otherwise unharmed. I take it you are to thank for that, Cassandra. Is there any way to counteract the cradle's influence? He told me you were the shut eye. Yes, that's right. For 10 years I bore his fatigue, and as a result my body is more fragile than most. Got it! Yes, she's gonna be who we're protecting. Got it. Remember when I said that, as a tank, there was gonna be somebody we've gotta protect? It's her. Since arriving in Tulialal, my life has become normal. I've walked the city streets and eaten my fill of its food. I felt my stomach grow. I can even stay awake for a full day now. Do you know why Tentawa sleeps so soundly? Reports of other incidents indicate that those affected awake in a matter of moments. Yet Tentawa shows no signs of stirring. Well, I'm sorry, I can't say for certain. But I do know the stories of those who came before me. More than one shut-eye has fallen into a sleep much like this, one so absolute that they become deaf to the outside world. With no means to sustain their bodies, they would waste away if left alone. So our people found a mixture of herbs and other materials to help usher the shut-eye back to the waking world. What could possibly be strong enough to bring someone back from this? We call it spring dew, and the secrets of its makings are passed down through generations. Each drop acts as a ray of sunshine in the darkness of sleep, a beacon for the dreamer to follow. I carry some of the ingredients on my person, but others must be gathered fresh. It won't be an easy task, but I'm certain it will save Tentawa. Don't know their Eorzean name, but one of the flowers blooms a striking yellow, grows only where mountain peaks soar above the clouds. Being so close to the heavens, it drinks in the sunlight, and its petals cleanse the body and promote wakefulness. In churning mists blooms a yellow flower called the dandelion. In no other place in Eorzea can one be closer to touching the sun. Good. Next, we'll need the saliva of a beast we call moorballs. And the thicker it is, the better. Pungent odor could wake the dead. Ah, I know them well. Morbolls are not uncommon, and are not an uncommon sight in the Dravanian hinterlands. A mature specimen should possess saliva with the desired effect. The prospect of gathering it, however, is an unenviable task. Once we have those two ingredients, mixing them with the rest should be a simple matter. Do you think you could procure them, Cassandra? Oh, your confidence is reassuring. And some Morbol saliva must be the fresher of the two. I ask that you first climb into the heavens and pick dandelions for Tentawa. I'm surprised that they didn't just let's send knights to gather the dandelions and then you to gather the Morbol. But it's also possible that this is what's going to be split between the two quests. So Mogholm is fine. We'll head there and then we'll go from there, pretty much. Give me 1 second here. I want to look for... Here we go. Oh. Cat cam. Not the easiest to set up, considering the position that I'm in. Maybe I can put the camera over here. She's sitting on my lap at the moment. And I know everybody do love the cat cam. So we shall bring up said cat cam. You know, for the 10 minutes that she'll probably sit on my lap. So... She usually doesn't stay for very long. So I can't guarantee the cat cam will stay for long. But, you know. Oh wow, I didn't one-shot that guy. Sun-drenched dandelions shine an almost golden yellow. Now for a much more gruesome task. Venture to the Dravanian hinterlands and collect saliva from the mouth of a full-grown Morbol. Ugh. Hinterlands, right? As in Idleshire. Yeah, okay. 'Tis unfortunate, but it's fine. We'll head there anyway. Also, I still have the light on, so there's a little bit more light than would be normal. So she's, you know, a little more visible than normal. Just happy sitting there. Oh yeah. Sometimes she enjoys cuddling. Not all the time. I would even say that this is the first time in like a week that she is actually like sat and cuddled. Normally she hops up on my lap, gets into cuddle position, and then decides playtime. But at the moment she is cuddle, so I am happy to let her cuddle. She has slowly been, whoops, that's right, can't fly, because it'll shire. She has been very slowly, like, getting used to the idea of, like, but what would be the term? I guess, like, human companionship, you know? She's been ever so slowly, like, learning about, you know, being pet, cuddling, and things like that. She used to go into my mom's bedroom with the other cats, where the other cats will, like, they'll go in and, you know, cuddle and sleep and such. She used to go in there and then just, like, find a corner and just, like, sleep on her own. But she's gotten to the point now where she actually, like, sleeps to, like, cuddle with my mom and stuff. And of course, my mom doesn't have an issue with that. She is like, you know, hey, you know, like, try to get her to, like, be out with you more. But she's, you know, more than happy to let the cat also stay. The main thing is that she's supposed to be, you know, my animal, as opposed to, like, the other cats are, where they're, you know, the family's cats, if you will. And, like, yeah, I do get that, but also, like, I don't know. I'm perfect. Like, the last two cats that were just my cat, they were very heavily, like, just my cat. They would, like, stay with me and only me. So I'm kind of, like, I'm kind of happy at the idea that she's, like, open to more than just me. So, I'm ready to start mixing the ingredients at once. That is, of course, assuming you've brought them with you. Sun-drenched dandelion. Oh no, never mind. Okay. And great putrid morbol saliva. Found blooming among the floating isles above Eorzea, the petals of this dandelion glow almost as brilliantly as the sun which nourishes them. So pungent that not a sealed vial can contain its scent completely. A single whiff of this saliva can retch even the deepest sleeper back into the waking world. These are difficult to acquire at the best of times, so I thank you for gathering them so quickly. She'll get started immediately. So yeah, again, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do, like, you know, these people will go get the dandelions, and then you'll go get the freaking morbol. Because that's the way that the other quests have always done. It like, in this series, have done them. You know, this expansion. We've done all we can. Now we wait for Tentawa to open his eyes. Where am I? I hope you enjoyed sleeping the days away, Tintawa. And I'm glad you're finally awake. Lozaniqui, what are you doing here? Lozaniqui, maybe? I see. So Leophyne wielded the cradle against me. While I was tucked soundly in bed, Lozaniqui came all this way. Curse my weakness! Just when we had her. Just when I was needed the most, I failed. For 10 years I endured countless trials. When the time came, I couldn't even swing my damn weapon. It's not your fault, Tintawa. If anyone's to blame for what's happened, it's me. No, I won't hear it. As you may know, Leophyne won our trust by posing as a scholar, traveling the width and breadth of Tyrol. She expressed great interest in the cradle and our customs, and I was so excited to meet an outsider that I answered her every question. I told her that the wide eye keeps the cradle with them at all times. And then she hatched her plan. She took me hostage to draw out Tintawa. While Lozaniqui was sleeping, Leophyne snuck into her chamber and held a blade to her throat. I had no choice but to give her what she wanted. The cradle of the sleepless. Why didn't you just put her to sleep? Like, why not just... Bam! Put her to sleep. I put Lozaniqui's life before the future of our people. So at that moment I became unfit to be their guardian. But again, why not? Why didn't he just... Boom! Now you're asleep. Lozaniqui is one of your people. Protecting her was your duty. Thank you, Cassandra. You know just what to say. It's the only way to see a future where none of my people came to harm. Especially Lozaniqui. Even without the cradle, you're still our guardian. My guardian. We'll find a way through this together. Seeing you in such high spirits lifts my own. Oh, and before I forget, you trounced Leophyne's thugs while I was dreaming in the snow, didn't you? I owe you a debt I won't soon forget. And I wager that debt will grow larger before we pry the treasure from Leophyne's clutches. But whatever it takes, I won't stop until she's answered for her crimes. Might be Lozaniqui. That kind of rolls off the tongue easier. And usually, the easier something is to say, the more likely it is. Like, S-A-D-B. Yes, S-A-D-B. Is pronounced something, at least from what I've tried to like understand of like Celtic culture and names, is pronounced more like Sav or Sav. You know, while it's obviously spelt S-A-D-B, so it would be like Sadb. It's actually like, that was just how the V was spelt back in like Celtic days kind of thing. I could be completely wrong about that. But even if I'm wrong, the idea is still that SADB does not equal SADB, you know? Ow, I was typing all that into the chat because I forgot that the freaking cat cam was there. So like SADB, right, is like this, I think. At least, again, as far as I am aware, that's like how it's pronounced. I am trying to do something for all of you. Trying to make the chat a little bit more, the chat bar rather, a little bit more visible. To like kind of help with like, you know, showing my point a little easier. Like SADB, from what I understand, is pronounced more like SAV. But even if I'm wrong on that, like I said, the point is that it is not SADB or SADB. It's SA and then it's like a V or an H or something to that degree. It is not as complex as it appears. So it's very, you know, me being like Lozaniqui is probably wrong. It's probably more like Lozaniqui. Because that's like simpler. Language, from what I can tell, I'm no linguist obviously, but language does always seem to favor like simplicity in like speech. The more that you can say with like the less sound, you know, the better, right? So, you know, while I was sleeping, I dreamed. I saw Lozaniqui and I as children. Nothing particularly interesting happened. We just whiled the day away without a care in the world. Forgotten what it was like to dream. It was pleasant. I can't remember wanting to stay there. I can remember wanting to stay there. To never open my eyes again. But of course, the moment I gave form to that thought, I opened them, and Lozaniqui was there. Lozaniqui. I'm gonna try to say Lozaniqui. Even if we get the cradle back, will things return to the way they were? Will you go back to spending your life in dreams? I suppose so. It's my duty as the shut eye, after all. Your duty. And it was your duty, too, that compelled you to come all the way here to Ishgard. But no more. What are you saying? I tried so hard to convince myself that you were glad spending so much time asleep. But being on the other side made me realize I was lying to myself all along. I don't want to return to a life where you and I are bound together, but always so far apart. I want to go back to those happy days when we were by each other's sides. I guess what I'm saying is, if there's a different path for us, I want to find it, and I want to walk it with you. But not yet. First we reclaim the cradle. When we have, we'll take our first steps towards that new future. I promise. I must confess, I haven't felt the same since I woke up. I know I was in that bed for a while, but instead of feeling refreshed, my body feels weaker somehow. It's almost as if my very strength was sapped when the treasure was turned on me. I can't even grip my weapon properly. Perhaps the cradle has been sapping the ether out of its target all along. Leophyne did remark that she felt invigorated. Maybe she took your vitality for herself. Then does that mean the cradle has powers we don't know about? We don't know about? Not exactly. It may just mean the cradle works differently than we thought. Its wielder might not pass on their fatigue. Rather, they absorb another's vigor. The end effect would be the same. The crater's wielder can go on without sleep, and its victim loses the strength to even keep their eyes open. You never took more than you needed, so my slumber was always light enough to awaken from. But if the treasure was used without restraint, if we hadn't had this realization, it won't be long until Leophyne does too. Or if we've had this realization, it won't be long until Leophyne does too. And then, it will be too late. We have to root her out. But I mustn't rush ahead blindly. I swear I can read. As Lozanaqui never tires of telling me, I felt nearly weak as a child, right? I did have it right. I feel nearly weak as a child right now. I must spend what precious little time we have, training to regain what strength Leophyne stole from me. If you have my word, I won't rest until I'm in top form again. I suggest that you do the same, if for no other reason than to give me some stiff competition. No worries. Oh. Careful there, kitty. You almost fell down. Look at that happy face. Look at that happy face. Just purring away. What's interesting is it's not catching the audio from the microphone or from the webcam at all. I don't know. I have no idea what this sounds like, but I just turned on the webcam's microphone. Let me set it to there. That's the same level as my regular mic. I was kind of hoping that it might be able to pick up on her purring, but I don't think it is. It's probably just picking up on the air conditioner, and it's probably super loud. So go ahead and turn it off. So yeah, I have no idea what that sounded like. Apologies if it was like really bad. Didn't hear her. That doesn't surprise me. She's not particularly loud when she's purring. So, you were in ads. I mean, that happens. I was way louder. Air conditioner wasn't too bad though. Okay. I mean, that surprises me. But I suppose that makes sense. That I would be way louder. Kind of echoey now. But that makes sense, because it's two different microphones at two different levels picking me up. Oh. Getting up or going back to sleep? Oh, I'm sorry. I pet you on the back, so that means now you have to groom yourself, doesn't it? Ah, cats. Awakened, not stirred. Sentawa appears healthier, but there is still a hint of weariness in his expression. You're looking strong, Cassandra. While I'm not my old self yet, I'm feeling better by the day. Still, there's much work to be done. I need to be even better than I was before to have any hope of catching Leophyne. Wonder what she's plotting with the rest of her cohorts. We know they aim to topple nations around the world, but this is an odd way to go about it, don't you think? Why haven't her misdeeds in Ishgard extended any farther than the Temple Knights? We've pondered that same question. Our best guess is that it was that a former Temple Knight herself. She chose them because she knows how to exploit their weaknesses. She's using her knowledge as her weapon, and we need to equip ourselves likewise. If we can learn more about her, we might be able to anticipate her next move. Good plan, but I admit I have no idea where to start. Should we ask Firmalbert? I already have. He said that while he never knew her personally, the knights in her old squadron might be able to shed light onto her past. Some of them even now patrol the city, and Firmalbert was a great help in telling me where they might be. You've been busy, Lozanakui. Well, I can't remember the last time I was awake this long. Didn't want to sit around until I got tired again. And we're all better for it. Since you've gathered the information, it's only fitting I should do the legwork. Just tell me where these knights are and I'll speak with them. Gladly, but Ishgard is still an unfamiliar city for both of us, right? Although Firmable told me where to go, names of these places mean nothing to me. Luckily, we have Cassandra to guide you. You'll go with Tintowel, won't you? Of course. I knew we could count on you. Alright, take note of these locations. Let me guess. Tentawa is now following me. Yep. Being forced to work with someone like Leophyne isn't a fate I would envy. Curious to hear what these knights have to say about her. Hopefully they provide insight that'll help guide us forward. Time is of the essence, Cassandra. Let's get moving. Tentawa is now accompanying you. Ha! Tentawa counts as a minion. That's great. I've never had a minion out while I did any of these quests. So I didn't know that, like, it puts your minion away. Like, that's great. Up there, I assume? Would have figured it would have an arrow if I needed to go up, though. But it's not saying down. And the courteous Temple Knight is here. Now this is a rare privilege. What business could the savior of Ishgard have with a humble knight? Want to know about Leophyne? Well, many Temple Knights come from common stock, but she was different. Despite what she became, Leophyne was born of noble blood. Even so, she often made mock of Ishgard's customs, and the responsibilities that bound the conduct of noble families. Doubtless she yearned for freedom all her life, or her idea of it anyways. Although her deeds caused her to be expelled from the Temple Knights and summarily stripped of her title, she may have actually desired that outcome. She hated it so much here, all she had to do was leave. I hear she did leave, for a time at least. Now she's in league with a group that aims to plunge the world into chaos. If a selfish heart like Leophyne was sought out to aid in this plot, I shudder to imagine how wicked their leader must be. That's what I'm the most curious about out of all of this. Like, don't get me wrong, I am thoroughly enjoying all of these quests. Much better than the Endwalker ones, honestly. But, like, what I'm the most curious about is the leader of the Unbound. Like, she seemed like she was doing this just to, like, lead these people on, you know? I mean, I could be completely wrong. I've been completely wrong many times in this. To require aid, I must keep watch, so forgive me if I don't engage in idle chit-chat. Leophyne. For her, I can spare a moment. Don't suppose you know why she was expelled from the Temple Knights, do you? While few were her equal in sword play, and fewer still handled their mounts with such grace, she oft spent her nights carousing in the gambling halls. It was after just such a night that she fell asleep while on duty. Some may call it a cruel twist of fate, but dragons attacked her charges as she slept, and they were left defenseless. In her negligence, she was deemed to have aided our ancestral foe, and thus we stripped her of her knighthood and noble title both. Knights falling asleep on duty, a story that's become all too familiar. Given what happened, I've no doubt she came to fear sleep. Yet now she has conquered that weakness, she wields it as a weapon against us. She may even believe herself to be beyond the reach of mortal danger, yet she's only deluding herself, and in time she'll be made to answer for her deeds. Interesting. Very into this thing. No. 280. Besides which, I was gonna buy gear for my retainers, but I need the gear that's in Kugane. They already have this gear. Heard that the people of Ishgard revere a warrior god, but here is the statue of a flesh and blood knight. I've never seen such a thing. My people make no figures or depictions of our departed. Bringing such objects would keep them from finding their way to the next world. The only idol we keep is the cradle of the sleepless. Thanks to its blessing, a wide eye has always watched over us. So our reverence is devoted solely to the narwhal. It's enough that it guides our people safely to the next sunrise. Indeed. Is that a knight? I guess. It's like a dragoon. So, like, you know, they are knights, dragoons. It's just, he's like got a cloak on. And also the statue has been like irrevocably damaged. Like, look at the side of this thing. Like, the best thing I can do is just come over here and knock it down. Like, that's all I have. That's the only option. Clearly, this is the only thing that I can do. Clearly, you know, just leaving it because it still works isn't an option. Could you imagine, though, if, like, the game allowed you to do that? And then just, like, all of Ishgard just comes piling down on you. All is quiet. Even so, I must remain vigilant. Leophyne, eh? Name spoken of in hushed whispers now. Many have forgotten her strategic genius. She had a singular talent for achieving victory in battle by whatever means necessary. Genius. Maybe we're just too dense to see how our actions would cause Ishgard to collapse. Given that our group seems relatively few in number, assault on Ishgard is unlikely. Her group, rather. Rather, I think her aim is to chip away at the people's trust in Ishgard's foundation. And by the absence of a few vital bricks bring the whole nation tumbling down. The thoughts give me worry. Even now, representatives from Ishgard are preparing to visit Okzundu in the Sea of Clouds. If anything were to go wrong, it would be a grievous blow to Ishgard's reputation. As we saw at Falcon's Nest, certain elements that oppose our nation see friendly gestures as a chance to spark conflict. Given recent developments, Sir Handaloop has been debating whether the visit is a wise choice. It is a wise choice. It's the perfect choice. Well, we have a great understanding of what drives our adversary. Stories that paint a picture of a rotten, conniving soul. We know enough to guess her next move. You're right. Whatever the ultimate goal may be, it's clear she had an almost binding focus on shaming the Temple Knights. And this, what did he call it, a delegation, may provide an irresistible opportunity. Finally, we have knowledge to use against our enemy. If we all work together, we might be able to trap her. We haven't much time. Let's return to the congregation and tell this Handaloop what we know. Speak with Handaloop. That's a lot of logging in and out. The DDoS must be back. I don't understand why people do that. Oh, this statue's in even worse condition. Look at that. Like, this guy's whole freaking head is gone. Well, time to knock this one down too. Clearly, this is the best option. You know? Knock it down and rebuild the whole thing instead of just rebuilding a tiny part of it. Right? Right? On the loop. You're ever welcome at the congregation, Cassandra. I am well apprised of Leophyne's wicked deeds, and your efforts to flush her out have been much appreciated. And this must be Master Tentawa, who crossed the ocean from Tyrol. I hope you have recovered from your ordeal. And I'm better than ever. Apologies for taking up one of your beds for so long. Please, no apologies are necessary. On the contrary, the Temple Knights yet owe you a debt for all you have done. Which brings us to the purpose of this visit. You're gonna fall over if you keep sliding that way, Cat. She is hard asleep. I don't know how well I can, like, move this. Well, okay, maybe she's not hard asleep, since she just woke up. What brings us to the purpose of this visit? You had something to discuss with me? We know where she's gonna strike next. I see. You and I had the same doubts. The delegation to Okzundu would be an obvious target for Leophyne. I was but recently debating the wisdom of moving forward with our plans. It is the perfect idea. As you know, all of Ishgard falls under the protection of the Temple Knights. As such, 'tis only meet that we maintain and strengthen friendly relations with our neighbors. The delegation in question is tasked with deepening mutual understanding of each of our unique cultures. Sanu Vanu, chief of the Zundu, was most eager to host. Yet so long as the specter of Leophyne hangs over our order, I fear visits abroad are unwise. Should any of the Vanu Vanu come to harm, our relations could be damaged irreparably. As we have no way of knowing if Leophyne has caught wind of our plans, I am of the mind that proposing the delegation may be the most prudent course of action for the safety of all. This could also be the perfect chance to draw her out. Zundu will be safe under our watch. She can't put me to sleep that easy. That's right. Cassandra and I won't let anyone come to harm. As long as you warn the Vanu Vanu in advance, they shouldn't hold the actions of a rogue against you. If they're truly your allies, they'll see the wisdom in your judgment. Please, send the delegation as planned. It'll be our best chance to capture Leophyne. Yes, your words have merit. Thank you for the sage counsel. You are right. The Zundu would not stand idly by while we suffer at Leophyne's hand. In fact, the fellowship between our two peoples was forged when a god assailed their home and was brought low by a great hero, Cassandra. We tell the Zundu that she is keeping watch over the proceedings, and I am certain all doubts shall be quelled. Then you'll proceed. Indeed, time has come for we Temple Knights to reclaim our honor and go on the counter-offensive. I shall bring the suggestion of a joint operation against Leophyne to the Lord Commander as soon as possible. Thank you. Together we'll put a stop to her scheme. I first must discuss matters with the others involved before we present a plan to the Lord Commander. Although time is of the essence, I ask that you wait a while until our course is settled. Look at the position she's in. Like, you are just in the weirdest position here, Cat. Alright, I have the camera flipped. Nope, I didn't have the camera flipped. It was just taking forever to load. You're so funny. Twitchy ears. Hello, Mist. Good, I needed somebody to send this to on Discord. So I will send it that way. And now my phone has bugged. I took a picture, and the easiest way to get the picture from my phone to, like, the stream is to just send it to Discord. And so I sent it to you, as you can clearly tell. But also, like, I'm surprised you're awake right now, with it being, you know, almost 1:30 in the morning. Oops. Here's a picture from my phone of her from this angle. Here's the webcam. Here's the picture. Here's the webcam. Here's my phone. Putting all the rules in the document leading up to Spellcaster. See, I guess I'm weird. I don't like I don't copy paste at all. Like, I've been working on Versame TTRPG, and I haven't been like copy pasting at all. I've just been like reading through the old like AD&D second edition stuff, and then like, okay, now write it, you know. So then I just sit down and actually like write it all out myself. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. You know, 5e SRD is under the CC, whereas AD&D second edition is not any kind of like open source. But if I take the second edition rules and I modify them, which is like the whole point, then I can release it and it's not considered the same thing, you know? Which is nice. So I'm like I'm taking this like second edition ideas, but then I'm like, alright, so we're not going to use Thaco, because, like, that's just stupid. You know, we're going to use a standard AC system, like freaking, you know, modern D&D has. Right, words can, but not mechanics, which is good. So it's like, yeah, I'm, you know, ditching AC in favor of dodge plus damage reduction. Interesting. Very interesting. I mean, there is something to that idea of using, like, damage reduction. I mean, I would have to look and see how you're handling that, because it's just, I don't know, like, my thing is just like, it just seemed, you know, and maybe it's just because of how it's worded, but it's like, AC determines whether you get hit or not, you know? It's like, if you don't have AC, then how do you determine if your attack hits, you know? Like, most of what I've seen has just been like, oh, your attacks just always hit. It's just AC gives you, you know... Oh no, ads. Luckily they'll be out in just a moment. Ad cut me off. Oops. Luckily OBS does tell me when ads show up, so I say as ads are probably still playing, and so therefore people can't hear me. Hey, you all of you on the VOD can though, so that's great. I wish there was a way to just not play ads at all. I mean, obviously that would really suck, because then I don't get any money, but still. Or like, ads only play on the pre-roll or something. Like, I hate this, like, every once in a while you've got a freaking 1.5-minute long ad. Aggressive cinnamon toast crunch, then Insta? I don't know what Insta is. I don't know if she can hear me yet because the ad marker just went away. Oh, right, of course, Instagram. Duh, of course. I'm smart. Normally people say IG for Instagram. So it's like, Insta? What's that? But yeah, like, most of what I've seen has just all been like, all of your attacks hit. But then, you know, you have, like, damage reduction. And it's like, see, I don't like that. Because then you don't get the benefit of the crit miss and the crit hit, you know? Like, you could claim, well, if you roll max on the damage die, then that's a crit. But, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be technically less rare because, you know, D8 as opposed to freaking D20. But, like, what about D4s and D6s? Those would be, like, regular crits. Because that's only 1 out of 4 chance, you know? Like, I like the idea of damage reduction, and I definitely could see the idea working. You know, it's like, your AC is this. And then, if you're wearing plate mail, you'd take less damage. Like, that makes sense to me. But it's still just like, but like, again, most of the damage, most of the, like, DR, damage reduction. Like, most of the damage reduction is just like, yeah, instead of swinging your, you know, to hit, you just roll damage, and then your AC just, like, gives you damage reduction kind of thing. I'm always like, that just, because then, like, the tank can just straight up take no damage. All the time. If they have enough, you know, because they're going to stack damage reduction. You know? Like, if they've got damage reduction 12, then that means that, you know, a monster has to roll 12 damage to do any damage, right? But as long as, like, damage reduction isn't too, like, major, then I could see it still working. But yeah, I think that if I did do damage reduction, I'd do something like what you have, which is, you have an AC, and then enemies have a 2-hit, and then from there, like, your armor can reduce the damage that you take. You know, getting struck with a sword while wearing plate mail isn't going to hurt as much as getting struck with a sword when all you have is a shirt blocking, you know. Realize now that I agreed to defend the people I know next to nothing about. Tell me if these Zundu will soon be visiting. They look like large fluffy birds. They're like the Hanu Hanu, with even more of a penchant for metaphor. That's right, they do have, they have Hanu Hanu. Really, 2 groups of such people so far apart. This world really is full of surprises. I mean, I think I'm seeing all your messages, you know? Because you're like, dodges functional to AC. Crit lets you ignore DR. Like, if it has shown up on the stream, I've, like, seen it. So... Even a single city is enough for a lifetime. Every day I hear something that gives me food for thought. Like the story of the Dragon Song War, for instance. Generations of animosity between dragon and man that somehow ended in a rekindled fellowship. I imagined a whole world like that. A world where there'd be no need for protectors. Wide-Eye watches not only the monsters in the wilderness, but our neighbors as well. Barely even consider sending delegations outside our village's gates. And the cold snap only made things worse. With everyone struggling just to survive, our every thought goes towards defending our scarce resources. But if we only look outward with wariness, there's no hope for the future to change. No hope to build trust. If only there was a way to bridge the distance between us and greet tomorrow hand in hand. Maybe that's just a silly dream. Maybe. Either way, it's a beautiful thought. Each armor has a dodge rating, which is a penalty that reduces a player's dodge. That makes sense. Glad you think so. I'll hold that future in mind as I get back to training. As for you, Cassandra, get some rest. If you fall asleep when I need you most, I'll wake you up with a knock to the head. Dreams of a new day. Tentawa is eager to set a trap for Leophyne. There will be features for increasing his player's dodge. Someone proficient with armor, it increases the dodge rating by 5. Interesting. Sir Houndaloop still hasn't sent word. I guess the others might not be so enthusiastic about our plan. To them, the Cradle of the Sleepless is naturally still something to be feared. No matter how much faith they have in your strength, you'd be at Leophyne's mercy if she put you to sleep. Honestly, I don't blame them. Not even I imagined our treasure could be used for such evil. Leophyne's hand is no more than an indiscriminate weapon. But that means when we get it back, we could turn it into something else. Something no one's ever thought of before. We can find a way to use it without forcing someone to spend their life in slumber. Of course I agree with you, Tentawa, but we have more pressing matters. Namely, a rogue knight to capture and a treasure to recover. Right. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Apologies for keeping you waiting so long. The Temple Knights have finally reached a decision concerning the delegation to the Sea of Clouds. And what have you decided? I am pleased to say that the Zundu have agreed to join forces with us. Together we shall drive back Leophyne should she attack. If a shadow darkens even an ilm of their homeland, our peaceful delegation shall turn into a fighting force at a moment's notice. We shall restore the Temple Knight's reputation and recover your artifact in one fell swoop. Thank you, Houndaloop. We promise to do our part if Leophyne shows herself. She won't get away this time. We have but to hammer out the finer details. Once we are ready to depart, the first group of knights shall leave by airship. I would ask you both to make your way to Okzundu as soon as possible, so you may help plan our strategy. I'm coming too. I can heal your wounds, and if it comes to it, my staff can bruise as well as be... my staff can bruise as well as a club. Wow. I mean, the words were there, I just couldn't get them to form a sentence. DR can also be increased with features and training. Without armor, everyone has DR equal to their con. So dodge is 10 plus dex. That makes sense. I'll gladly have you with us. Done taking on the world alone. I need you, Lazanaqui. And Cassandra too. We're stronger together than we could ever be apart. The cradle never would have been stolen if I'd realized that from the beginning. I want you by my side to ensure I don't forget it. Well then, we'd better be off. I'm keen to meet this Chief Sanuvanu. Alrighty. Good night. Yeah, I'm definitely curious though to see, all of this come together. So, who knows? Maybe we'll use it over D&D one day, Our group can be the first one to, stream it or something. Honor Netherling, your return to Oxundo is as welcome as the arrival of spring. Your return, rather. Sonu knows why you come. Wicked hearts seek to bring chaos to our home. And so the Zundo shall rise to its defense if needed. As the sun's rays chase away the shadows of night, the sun-drop dance shall keep the tendrils of sleep at bay. Chief Sanuvanu, it's an honor to meet you. I'm Tintawa, and if this sun-drop dance is as invigorating as you say, I'd love to see it for myself. The Zundu shall dance before Iskard's warriors upon their arrival. Brave Tintawa is welcome to join the proceedings. That was your original intent, right? I see. If we're to draw Leophyne out, it makes sense to pretend like nothing is amiss. Zundu warriors unify their strength through the sun-drop dance, and the sight is so fearsome that many choose to flee rather than fight. Netherling warriors may learn much more from such an approach. Breaking the enemy's spirit avoids needless bloodshed. Yet all dancers must hone their skills before wild animals first, that the sun-drop dance does not fail them at the most crucial moment. 'Tis for that reason our dancers await at the outskirts of Oxundo for the Netherlings' arrival. When the performance begins, it shall draw the attention of all like a roiling cloud coming over the horizon. Watch carefully for any who would take advantage of that moment. Aha! Now, after the dance is finished, Netherlings will present Zundo with... Chief Sonu, Netherling's ship appears in the skies like sudden sun shower, hurtling towards Earth. Uh-oh. Swiftly it descends, crashing down near Zundu dancers. Ship's markings are Iskadian. Zundu are unhurt, but wounded Netherlings pour from vessel. Temple Knights would never harm the Zundu intentionally. Like a lightning bolt in the night, Leophyne strikes. Temple Knights were coming by airship, right? All Leophyne had to do was lull the pilot to sleep. She saw right through us. Now we're on the back foot. Great winds can alter even a raging river's course. What matters is to stand strong and move forward. And now we must offer aid to the Netherlings who come as guests. Right, let's go. Time-worn dragon skin map. Oh yeah, level 60 full party. Nice. This is the work of the cradle. Leophyne can't be far. We must tend to the wounded, but I won't let her escape again. This ends today, one way or the other. Dreams of a new duty. Here we go. They're all sleeping. There you are, Leophyne. You came all this way just to greet me? Oh, I am honored. I only hope my gift was satisfactory. 'Tis a shame you will not see Ishgard crumble. Alas, I can scarcely suffer rats to scurry about my feet, threatening to gnaw away at my carefully laid plans. At least you bear witness to the dying breath of the Temple Knight's flagging horror. We would sooner see that wrecked airship soar again than their reputation return to its former glory. Yet even I did not foresee that the Zundu would be in the ship's path. The fury favors me, for who now would trust a nation so careless as to put their neighbors at risk? Everyone knows you are behind this. People won't turn on each other so easily. Oh, I didn't see you there. The shut-eye, wide awake. Doubly honored I am that you came all this way just to meet your end. Enough. We're taking the cradle back. We won't let your evil continue any longer. Such bold words. If I recall correctly, your people reaped great benefits from this artifact's power. All at the cost of someone's waking life. Your life. Pray do not misunderstand me. That was not meant to be a denouncement of your people. On the contrary, they have my utmost respect. We are bound by our very nature. No matter how mighty we become, we are slaves to the whims of sleep. Yet this artifact can sunder those shackles and grant true freedom. It makes its wielder stronger and their enemies weak. A perfect weapon, if you ask me. Can't say whether using the cradle is wrong or right. I only know that a life lived at the cost of another is no life at all. You're right about one thing. We are bound by our nature. But that doesn't shackle us. It brings us together. And whether I'm asleep or awake, as long as Lazanakui is by my side, that's the life I want. We'll take the cradle back. Together. Show her no quarter. I'll be your shield. Aw, yeah. She's exhausted the cradle's power on the temple's knights. This is our chance. No plan is without its wrinkles, I suppose. Fortunately, I prepare for all contingencies. I was wondering how we were gonna handle the, she puts people to sleep thing. How is that gonna work? Got it. She's used all of its power already. Oh, she is ninja. Or at least rogue. Leophyne the unscrupulous. You had an opportunity to live a quiet life, but I will not give it again. This time, I shall send you into a slumber from which you will never wake. Whoops. Give back the cradle, or we'll take it back. I'll bluster as usual. Take it if you dare. Protect the Netherling warriors! Zundu, stand by our side, Leophyne won't stand a chance. Why must you resist? Come to the burden of sleep and dream eternal. I mean, I probably shouldn't be trying to aggro everything, but it looks like I don't draw the aggro of everything. Because, like, the guys that are tied to these Zundu are still focused on them. But it's okay, I'm warrior. So... now wash away darkness of sleep. Now walk away darkness of sleep with Sundance drop. Don't just stand there, kill them! Sandra, defend our allies over there. I'll take the other side. Or I could just take both sides. Like, it's not a problem. I am warrior, after all. Hear me roar. Smack! I like how Tantala came over to fight these guys because I dragged his aside. It's like, frick, dude. I'm a warrior. I might as well just pull everything. Witness the sun drop dance. Netherling warriors, awaken! Zundu's fearsome dance gives something. They woke up, is the point. Either. What happened? Everyone's awake. Mighty Zundu protect Netherling warriors. Keep cautious like Gale Cat under stormy skies. Now you're all alone. Now you're all alone. Ends now, Leophyne. Why am I cursed with incompetence? Very well. Dance with me, wide-eye. I have yet to test the strength granted to me. Your strength. Now I shall be undone. I mean, but like, what if I do this? Think I could hold such immense power. Okay, but what if I like, just do this? BAM! I love Warriors animations, dude. An artifact isn't for such callous hands. Novel's blessing is only for those with the heart of a defender. Sandra, we need to split up. You take that side. Bang. Thank you both. Killing is on the way. I mean, I'm warrior, so I'm not concerned. Although it is a bit harder to like keep your health up against single target. The artifact swells with power. It begs to be released. Now you shut your eyes for the final time. Take a glimpse of the waking world. Okay, but see, the problem that you have here is, I'm still warrior. Brace yourself against the power of the artifact. None can resist my power. Alright, what about Tintawa? Just straight up asleep. Think this piece of wood is for protection? Such a cloying sentiment. Cursed insects, you lot, finish them off. Earn your freedom. Sundrop dance shall rouse Nettling Warrior. Protect the sleeper until he wakens. Time for us to protect Tintawa. Get through this together. Also, I gained Primal Impulse. I don't know what that does. It's the first time I've seen that trigger. I think it's also like the first time I've used that freaking ability though, to be fair. Bonk. Smack. Bonk. Like, really though, I could take twice this many dudes. I'm just saying. Bonk. Smash. In your feet, Tintawa. It's your duty of the wide eye. What? I was asleep. I owe you all my life. Thank you. Soon do go to help allies. May Zephyr winds guide you to victory. Though, sleep is inexorable. How are they doing this? I'm far from finished. Will not withstand this. You know, I probably wouldn't if you didn't leave large gaps in it. Just saying. Others are just tools to you. Is that your idea of freedom? Smack. Bonk. Smack. I love Warrior, dude. Warrior is so fun to play. Got a stack. Let me just go ahead and drop a little bit of that. I don't know if it, like, actually affected Leo, you know, my allies, because they're not in a party. Interject. Sorry, but I see that red flashing bar. I know what it means. Bonk. Get some more HP, by the way. Bonk. Smash. Freaking dude. Dawntrail Warrior is ridiculous, dude. Like, the animations for our new skills are just so ridiculous. I love it. You're stubborn. I have won today, but this is not over. Yes, it is. Rip. Damned fool. Now! No! Say good night, Leophyne. I love that every single one of these people. Oh, she did. I love that every one of these people just gets the freaking artifact used on them. The wide eye watches eternal, and eternity and eternal is the sleep it bestows. Oh. She might be alive. The hippogriff did go, you know, the griffin, excuse me, did go flying after her. It might have caught her. Finally stopped her. Yes, but we have someone else to worry about. Cassandra, wake up! Are you alright? Only she would smile at a time like this. I love that. I love these quests, man. These are the best role quests. These have been the best role quests. They really have. Like, I enjoyed the Shadowbringers ones. They were really effective and emotional. But the Endwalker ones were just the story for them was just there. Like, it was, we had to do what we had to do because, you know, freaking literal world-ending threats attacking, you know, freaking people turning into massive world-ending threats. Here, though, like, I just like these ones. Like, these are so much fun. I love all the characters, and I'm just loving the Unbound. Like, each one is amazing. Also, I don't know if I read that box, but it was on the screen for long enough that anybody else could have read it, so. Your work is done, Cassandra. You did a commendable job as our shield. Now you can lay down your burden. It was thanks to your bravery that I was able to deal the final blow to Leophyne. With the cradle back in our possession, I think we can consider this expedition across the seas to be a success. Zundu helped us gather the wounded, see them safely off to Ishgard. We couldn't have done it without you. Netherlings protect allies as fiercely as Galecat protecting kittens. Zundu are moved by your might. You are equally as impressive. I should learn the Sundrop dance myself, though I won't strike a figure half as fierce as yours. Would learn, I think. Oops. Zundu seemed to have everything well in hand, and the Handaloop is likely eager to see us. We should return to Ishgard as soon as we can. Alright. Let's Speak with Hondalup and Ishgard, and then the quest will send us on back. A Lalafell named Teacup that is launching off like thousands of fireworks. That's great. They also do potato parades every 2 months. Whatever the word that they use in this game for potato. Whatever the word is. You are in an interesting position, Cat. I am like barely holding on to you with my legs. If I shifted my legs at all, you would just slide right through. The heroes of the day have returned. Thanks to your valor, the threat Leophyne posed is no more. What's more, not a single life was lost. On behalf of the Temple Knights, allow me to express my utmost gratitude to you all. You don't owe me any thanks. After all, it was my fault that the cradle was stolen in the first place. And ultimately my fault that your delegation to Oxzundu turned into a melee. It may be true that our visit to the Sea of Clouds was far from peaceful, but the bond between the Zundu and Temple Knights has only deepened through overcoming mutual adversity. Blessings often take inscrutable forms. See, I'm half wondering if that's the idea behind these Unbound. Like, each one of these is like absolutely crazy. But also they would legitimately never pose an actual threat to the nations. And I'm like, was that the goal of the leader? Was like sending them off to these nations knowing that like we would defeat these guys and that it would strengthen everybody? While we know not whether Leophyne yet lives, we do know that she can no longer reach the source of her ill-gotten power, so we have little more to fear from her. With the crisis behind us, the common folk no longer have aught to fear. We will make known the story of Leophyne's schemes and the heroes who work to foil them, and in time, I hope that trust in our order will be restored. Temple Knights shall continue to build relations with our neighbors for years to come, relations which shall form the foundation for Ishgard's future. We would be honored if we could count you among our allies in this endeavor. Right here. It has been, like, this leg has been in this position ever since she lied down. Yeah, you. I'm talking about you. Ever since she lied down, this leg has been in this position. And I just shifted my leg for the first time in, like, what, a couple hours now? And, oh my gosh. Like, just pain went through my legs. Anything you need, simply call upon us. We'll be there, no questions asked. And with that, it's time we returned home. It's been an honor. We'll be passing through Tulialol on our way back, Sandra. If you have business in those parts, we'd love to speak with you at Zibali of Tai before setting off. See you soon, hopefully. Sure. I just, like, have a whole nother quest line to do first, and then I will be there. So, you know, I'll be there eventually. Oh god, now I have to figure out where in Lanasia I'm actually supposed to go. Not exclusively Potato Parade, but definitely a lot of potato. But just basically somebody's just telling me about somebody, I think on their server. I think this person's on a different server. It doesn't look like, if they are, they're not like on that server at the moment. So nope, they are on the server. I thought they were from a different world. So nope, they are from this world. But yeah, I guess there's somebody that she met named Teacup who's firing off fireworks. And also somebody related to that, maybe, or possibly the same person. They do like parades where there's just a ton of Lalafels. So, why are you being so adorable right now? Like, look at this face. Look at this face. Like, look at that face, man. Like, she is being so adorable right now. I love it. I love it. She's being so cute and sleeping all nice and calm. Alright, well, let's head to Lenasia. I'm just gonna start in Limsa and go from there, I think. And now, we finish it off. Which I kind of feel bad for now that I'm thinking about it, because we did heal her last. Oh well. It's whatever. Maybe I'll do an outro for the stream that I'll like put at the end of all three of them. I just kind of realized that, like, Warrior gets the outro, but the other two aren't gonna get the outro. Whatever. I'll figure it out. Cassandra, there you are. I was afraid we wouldn't see you before we left. You arrived not long ago, and apprised Brook Evu of everything that happened. This is the longest I've spent away from our village. But even though Tuliyalal and Ishgard were like entirely different worlds to me, I was only ever treated with kindness. Yeah, don't get used to it. Is anything the matter, Tentawa? Nothing, it's just something I've been thinking about. People have always been self-sufficient, but the Ishgardians and the Zundu showed that looking to your neighbor can reveal a way through the harshest difficulties. And you heard, Handaloop, the bond between Ishgard and Uk Zundu was only made deeper through their shared ordeal. Trust another to such a degree. Well, I think it's a goal we should all strive toward. We have at least one friend like that, don't we? She who bent her ears to every note of the narwhal's lullaby without a shade of fear in her eyes. Thank you, Cassandra. For believing in us. For believing that no matter the outcome, your actions would not be in vain. In so doing, you taught me the worth of fighting alongside allies you can trust. Even if your shield breaks, that's not the end. I only protected you as you protected me. I like the other one. Even if your shield breaks, it's not the end. You're right. It's our faith in our allies, and their faith in us, that gives us the courage to protect each other. But approaching someone with open arms doesn't mean they'll accept you. The relations between our people and our neighbors have been strained by generations of mistrust, and we must take care to mend them properly. If we can do that, and learn to look towards the future hand in hand, there will be no need to use the cradle ever again. People can sleep and dream untroubled, and awaken with bright eyes. FF14. Oh, there we go. I say FF14 just crashed there for a second. Want to see those days come to pass. Me too. Then you and I can finally spend more time together. Right, of course. If we're going to see this future, then we should get back to our village. They'll be overjoyed to see the cradle returned. Thank you for everything, Cassandra. Next time we meet, may we both have good news to share. Yay! And with that, actually, hang on, end of tank. And with that, the last of the role quests is complete. 5 of the 6 Unbound have come to justice. And if you're watching the VOD, I'm probably just gonna set this as the outro for all 3 videos. So, there's that. Yeah. I have nothing more to do or say. It's 4 in the morning. We have streamed now for 6 hours. I almost said 7. I thought it was 7. But we have streamed now for 6 hours, which means that we have been at this for quite a long time. So I was thinking that if we completed the role quest early enough, I might do other things. I definitely did not expect it to take 6 hours. I figured it would take 2 to 3. And I'd be like, now what do I do for the rest of it? I actually almost decided to break it up and do another stream of this. I didn't, but I almost thought about doing it. Purely on the aspect of, we were already at 4 hours when we completed the first 2. So I would have gone and just turned in the quests and then finished the stream there. And then we would have done that one last on another stream. But we didn't have to. So we now have all of the role quests complete. This has unlocked our ability to dye all of our gear, and you better believe I'm going to be doing that on some of these. But with that, I do hope everyone has enjoyed these streams / VODs / however you want to word it. Maybe if I'm still streaming 2 years from now when the next expansion comes out, maybe I'll think about doing all of the role quests together. As soon as they're basically wait until we're level 110, I assume. and then, like, you know, just do all of the quests in a row. Maybe. That's 2 years down the line. So, you know, don't have to worry about that for a while. But if you've enjoyed, if you're watching the VODs over on YouTube, feel free to subscribe. You can check the playlist for the rest of the streams. The entirety of Dawntrail is in there now. As, you know, well, I guess it depends on if you're which of these you're watching. Because if I do put this at the end of all 3 of them, then it'll depend on, you know, which of those you're watching and whether or not I've, like, posted the other 2 yet. So, and probably I'm going to post them in order, because I'll be highlighting them in order. So, but, so if you're watching the tank episode, if this is the outro for the tank role quests, then at that point, all of Endwalker is out. So there's that. If it's, you know, the healer, or if it's the dancer, then not yet. But all of the rest of Endwalker prior is there. So, I think it's what, 20 streams by the end of this? So that's pretty cool. Well, 20 VODs, because not all of them were single, like, not all of them were, like, separate streams. I know there were a couple that I split up into multiple VODs. Not many. This one, but not many. So, in either case, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I've already said that. Check out Patreon. It helps out the channel. And come out twitch.tv/SereneInc if you want to watch these streams live. And I'll see you all next time. Well, if I just let this, like, end on its own, does that just keep... Oh! If I let it end on its own, it actually cancels the regen. I think. Or maybe not? Because the improvisation. I think improvisation was the regen. I don't know. I don't use that skill enough to know when to use it and how. So, whatever. Anyway. See you later.